best interest if you vote yes on them three. Should I just shut up and let it go?
I'm gonna leave that to you.
I got everything to live, it doesn't mean anything. That's what I'm trying to find out.
New exemptions, how is new exemptions brought into, if you want to bring in new exemptions, what do you have to keep that from happening?
What we did last year, which could be weak, was 2/3 of both houses in government. There's a couple problems you have, is you want to make it as hard as possible. But at the same time, if you make it too hard, where you have to change the Constitution, you give an avenue for someone to go in there and reinstitute an income tax. So you almost want an avenue that is outside of changing the Constitution. We use the 2/3 because that's where it's used elsewhere, but I would consider raising that bar higher.
How can you get it higher?
By writing it in there.
Well,
We can say 3/4 if we want.
3/4 or-
Yeah, we can say what we can do it if we want.
Why not, this is a pure fair tax, I mean, why should we leave the door open? Is you gonna have to have that to get the bill
Well,
passed?
not necessarily. The reason why I want to leave it in there is just in case there's something new that comes up. Like, if there's something where there's, like the gasoline, it goes directly to MoDOT. If there's something new that passes, we would have to go back in and change the Constitution. And by forcing us to go back into the Constitution, depending on who's in power, they could reinstitute an income tax. They could just change whatever they wanted to if they go back in there and change it. So by leaving an avenue, by not going into the Constitution, if something comes up, we wouldn't have to leave that door open.
Just afraid everybody will come and say, well, you have to exempt nursing homes, or you have to exempt.
I completely understand that, and I haven't fully decided which way I'm going with it. But
I would really, you've got to make it tight for some of it. Because there's no limit to, artificial limbs, you gotta have everything. I mean, there's just no limit to what you can, yeah, that'd be great, but everybody starts getting.
yeah, no, I fully understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying.
How do you change the tax rate?
The tax rate?
Yeah.
The tax rate is, you just change it by the normal process that we have today.
So the legislature can change to get it revenue neutral, they right now it's set that you have to 2/3 or just
Well, no, the 2/3 is for exemptions.
exemptions.
Yeah, but I'm very much considering raising that bar, making it harder.
It doesn't take a referendum to change the sales tax. It does in the national fair tax.
Well, when you're talking about the actual rate, like the amount of like you want to raise taxes or cut taxes, by passing this bill, nothing would change the way we do it now.
Well, but the national fair tax bill has as one of its features that changing the tax rate requires a referendum.
In the Missouri bill, we're not going to change the way it's done in Missouri, which right now it does have to go to vote of the people if you're going to change above a certain level.
So the state could up it every year if they wanted to.
It would be extremely difficult for them to do that. The people of Missouri would have to vote on it.
Okay, people do have to vote.
That's the way it is currently, right now. If we were to raise the income tax, the people of Missouri would have to vote on
No, but the sales tax.
it. I'm saying we're not changing the way we currently do it.
The sales tax, I don't remember that I ever voted for an up of sales tax. But you're saying that if they want to up the sales tax after we pass this, the people have to vote on it?
Right, and that's the way it is now. Same thing with the income tax, same thing with any tax.
Okay.
Speaking on rates, now, what's your forecast on first year, second year? How do you think, what is the rates? What are you gonna put the rates at is what we'll tell everyone.
What our plan was, is to put it at roughly 5% the first year with the expansion. So you're looking at a slight increase in the rate and then the expansion. quite a bit. It would completely eliminate the corporate tax. It would completely eliminate the franchise tax. And it would hit a chunk off of the income tax. And then the remaining amount would be about 20% a year for 4 years.
And it's the personal income tax is 20% for 5, you take 20% off for 5 years, so it's 0.
You would probably hit more than 20% that first year. So it'd be 25% of the remaining balance that we have to hit.
What was the advantage in doing it that way, as opposed to just doing it all in 1 year?
Originally, we tried to do it all in 1 year, and we had a lot of people that were just scared. Saying, well, the state might not get enough revenue, or in case the rate was wrong, and we had to put in like a one-time adjustment. Well, I don't necessarily like it, but it kind of cleared up that issue. It took away their argument.
What happened about the pre-bid? I know that Chris Kelly out of Columbia, who wants to means test the pre-bid.
I'm not gonna do that. So, I mean, if he files a bill and he does it, I think that if you means test it, you're gonna have to report, and you're creating a nightmare, is what you're doing. So, I can tell you I'm not gonna do that.
So as far as you're concerned, the pre-bid will be going everybody who signs up for it.
Within those 4 years in which the income tax is being paid to have to be replaced, during those 4 years, at what time do they determine, or will the legislation determine, the sales tax is not sufficient enough to cover the loss of the income tax? Will that just be 1 year, or one time a year for 4 years, or how's that gonna work out?
Well, we have a lot of data. Basically by doing it this way, if we're a little bit off, it's not gonna affect state revenues.
Okay.
That's really what we're doing. So, if you're only doing 20 to 30%, you're not, if you were off by a little bit, you're not gonna be hit hard. So then the next year you can just adjust.
But you can't adjust it though. I'm gonna say you would necessarily have to, but obviously if the income tax didn't come in sufficiently high enough to make up for the
sales tax.
loss, or the sales tax, which would be either one.
Right.
Then you'd have to be adjustment somewhere, and would that be done by referendum every year, or would it be done as a part of the bill?
It'd be part of the phasing.
Okay, that would be written in as part of the bill, so it wouldn't have to repeat whatever
Right.
the 4 years.
Right. And we do cap it at 7%.
Oh, okay.
The sales tax will not go above 7%.
Okay.
Isn't there a commission set up for that, to make sure that that is revenue neutral?
Well, what we decided to do, and I can't promise you this is gonna be exactly the same. Instead of a commission, we put the treasurer in charge of it to oversee it. So thinking that the treasurer is an elected official, that we could vote out of office if he did something we didn't like.
Okay, so we're gonna go 4 years, and at the end of 4 years, no income tax, or personal income tax is gone. The rate locks up then at that rate, whatever it is, and it has to have a referendum to the people to change that rate.
Right. It will change that rate up.
Uh,
You can always change it down without it.
Okay.
That's the way it currently is.
And it is right now at 7%?
We have it capped. It doesn't mean that it's gonna reach that 7%. We're just saying it cannot go higher than that.
Is this a bill the governor is likely to sign?
We don't have to, it's not a problem. Because we're changing the Constitution with it. If you change the Constitution, has to go through both houses, and then it'll go to the people.
What do you say to the opponents that says, well, it's gonna take more than 7%, so, then the state doesn't have enough revenue?
Well, we have the data.
You have the data.
We have the data. There's no reason for it to go above 7%. We just put it in there for the people that are like, oh, it's gonna go up to 9, 10, 12.
So amendment 3 won't run it up to beyond the 7%?
Well, there's a portion of Amendment 3 that would be changed under my.
The business of fee on the transfer of property, is that something that's going on in Missouri now?
No, it's not.
It's just, it just came out of the blue, oh, we're gonna have a transfer, and you have to pass this amendment?
It sounds good. Which I agree, it sounds good to me.
That sounds very good. But I mean,
So it's,
but nobody's.
there are other states that do this.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, there's always that fear that might come with this.
Do you know the percentage of people that will be paying taxes on the fair tax that are not even on returns at this time?
Well, all right, what I say to that is these people are already paying sales tax today, and they're not getting
Right,
the
but they're not
rebate.
paying any income tax because they're not drawing.
Well, yeah, I understand that. But like underneath our plan, the first, for a family of four, the first 11,000 is gonna be untaxed. All right, so even if you look at today, if, let's say someone was, spent $22,000, which is the poverty line, all right? Today,
I'm talking about people well above the poverty line, that aren't filing tax returns, right? Well above.
well, I mean, we will be able to capture some people that are trying to hide their money overseas or under the ground. Yeah, we'll be
They're
able to
just
capture
not
some.
filing returns. They haven't been caught yet, too.
Yeah, I think compliance will go up because we're only looking at businesses. And right now, we're looking at all businesses and all individuals. So I think compliance should certainly go up.
Sales tax offices, you have to have more agents to do this. Is there any problem with their budget, the hurting? Talk about more, you have to have more people out there looking at the sales tax collection, so.
I mean, there will be an increase there, but it's not a large percentage. I mean, after all, we won't have to be dealing with individuals anymore.
Getting back to PR, you know, that's what killed us in the past, is just a few, throwing out some lying ads, and we never got any rebuttals out, you know, in mass. Just those of us who even knew about the fair tax were aware that there's anything other than the lies that was heard. So I guess my question is, how can we come together, how can we fund some advertising early on and keep that message out there, because we're gonna be attacked the same way, the same lies. What is our game plan for counteracting that?
Well, I mean, if you look at just what the Tea Party has done over the last 18 months, that's probably our best avenue. I mean, they've done a great job of attacking overspending at the federal level, and a lot of these people are very opposed to income taxes. So I think through the Tea Party, that's probably going to be our best avenue.
I think his point is real well taken, and I think that what we need to do is to get out early and define ourselves, define what it is and why it's a good idea. Because if you wait until somebody attacks you,
Exactly.
then you've already lost. Because now you're reacting, and you're reacting with people who are ignorant of it, and it's like, that now, you know what I mean? You gotta get out, you have to define yourself before somebody else defines you. That's real important.
Well, I know just inside the Capitol in 2009, when we passed it through the House, the lobbyists didn't know what hit them. I mean, there was only a few people that came to testify against it. The next year, the line was
Arm yourself with the truth. There's a number of things that can be done. You don't have to be a speaker like me. You can open your home, invite 10 friends in, and read the fair tax book to each other so that you understand how it works. It doesn't take 2 lawyers and 3 days and 10 days not to read it. If you actually read it and you talk about it, it makes sense. The kind of thing that our souls have been missing for so long. Speaking of common sense, on the Missouri side, all you have to do is take a look at Tennessee. Tennessee does not have an income tax. Their state sales tax rate is 7%, and they're running the whole stinking state on it. Plus, they're outgrowing jobs at a rate of 2 to 1. The 3 assembly plants that looked at setting up shop in